My dad demanded that I give my corneas to my blind sister. I gave him the truth instead. My dad called me last Tuesday, saying we needed to have a serious family meeting about my sister Haley's future. She'd been losing her vision for the past 3 years due to a genetic condition, and was now completely blind at 26. I drove 3 hours to my parents' house, thinking we would discuss care options or possibly explore assistance programs. Instead, I walked into what felt like an intervention with my dad, my mom, my Aunt Ruth, and Haley, all sitting in the living room waiting for me. My dad started by saying Haley's doctor had found a potential treatment that could restore her vision, but they needed a cornea donor who was a close genetic match. He said they'd tested everyone in the family, and I was the only match. He said this was my chance to give my sister her life back. I asked about the waiting list for donor corneas, and he said Haley couldn't wait that long. Her condition was deteriorating, and this needed to happen within the next few months or the surgery wouldn't be viable. My mom was crying, saying how hard it's been watching Haley struggle, how she'd lost her job as a graphic designer, how her boyfriend left her, how she barely left her apartment anymore. Haley just sat there with her hands folded, not saying anything. I said I needed time to think about it and research the procedure. My dad's whole demeanor changed. He said there was nothing to think about. This was family. This was what siblings did for each other. He said I had 2 working eyes and Haley had none, and refusing to help would be selfish beyond belief. He actually used the word selfish as if I were hoarding something that belonged to everyone. My Aunt Ruth chimed in, saying she'd give her corneas if she were a match, that any decent person would. She said I should be grateful I could even help. I asked what would happen to my vision if I donated, and my dad said the doctor assured them I'd still be able to see adequately with one eye. Adequately. Like having depth perception and peripheral vision were just bonuses I didn't really need. He said people lived full lives with one eye all the time, and I was young and healthy enough to adapt. When I said I needed to talk to the doctor myself, he said I was wasting time Haley didn't have. That's when things got weird. I asked Haley what she thought, and she finally spoke up, saying she didn't want to pressure me, but losing her sight had taken everything from her. She said she understood if I couldn't do it, but she'd never forgive herself for not asking. My dad immediately jumped in, saying it wasn't really asking when the answer should be obvious. He pulled out his phone and showed me pictures of Haley from before, painting and traveling and smiling. Then he showed me recent pictures of her with her white cane, looking miserable. He said this was my fault if I let it continue. My mom said they'd already talked to the surgeon and scheduled tentative dates for next month. They'd put down a deposit they couldn't get back. They'd told Haley's friends the good news that she'd be able to see again soon. They'd bought her new art supplies for when she recovered. Everything was planned except for me actually agreeing to it. I said I needed to leave and think, and my dad blocked the door. He said I wasn't leaving until I agreed to help my sister. He said if I walked out that door, I was walking out of the family forever. He said he'd disown any child who could watch their siblings suffer when they had the power to fix it. My mom begged me to just say yes, that they'd support me through the recovery, that they'd pay for everything, that I'd be a hero. I pushed past my dad and left. The next 3 days were hell. They called constantly. My dad left voicemails saying I was killing Haley slowly. My mom texted pictures of Haley struggling with daily tasks. My aunt posted vague things online about family disappointment and selfishness. Other relatives started calling, asking why I wouldn't help my poor sister. Then I did something my dad didn't expect. I called Haley's doctor myself. Turns out there was no revolutionary cornea surgery scheduled. Haley was on the normal transplant list like everyone else, and would likely get donor corneas within the year. The doctor had never discussed living donation with my family because that's not how cornea transplants work for conditions like Haley's. You can't just take corneas from a living person for an elective surgery. The only time they'd even consider it is for emergency trauma, and even then, it's extremely rare and requires extensive ethical review. The doctor was horrified when I explained what my family had told me. Full story on channel, link below.